Again, Erev Shabbos, Parshas Devarim. We're starting Sefer Devarim, and this usually coincides with Shabbos Chazoin right before Tisha B'Av, as it does this year. And it's befitting that the Parsha, the Sefer of Devarim, of Diburim, coincides with Tisha B'Av. We know that the Churban Bayis was caused by Noas Devarim, Sinas Chinam. The power of a word is remarkable, and the truth is, there's a famous line that the police put out: if you see something, say something. So I heard of Mayor Apter adapt this for us. It's very easy to say negative things about someone, but if you see something that's positive about someone, you see they have a nice smile, they got a new coat, looks like they looks like they feel good in their new coat, their new car. Say something. And if it looks like someone's hurting, then say something nice, something encouraging. If you see something, say something positive. Use your words for the koyach hatoiv. Obviously, if we're able to disassemble a Beis Hamikdash with our words, we could definitely be mesaken it, rebuild it. Right? You could definitely put together Beis Hamikdash with words. In April 2022, there was an employee of Chase that wrote in a public article that this Chinese internet market is uninvestable. That night, the business market, that particular business, plummeted $200 billion based on that one line, that one word, uninvestable. The next day, they apologized and said it was an error. Really, what he meant to say was unattractive. But that word, I mean, neither of those are very appealing words, and yet $200 billion for a word, and you should know that that's nothing compared to what you and I can do with our words. I heard two stories about smoking on Shabbos. Don't smoke on Shabbos. Good? Okay. Now, that being said, there was a Yid smoking on Shabbos, Rahman al-Islam, lost soul, on Coney Island. And someone noticed him and recognized him, knew who he was. So went over to him and he said, "Hi, Zanvu. Do your parents know you're doing this? Come on, you have to make your parents proud." I don't know if that's the best route to take, but that's where he went. And he says, "What are you talking about?" Zanvil says, "I've never made my parents proud of my life." What do you mean? He says, "Look, I used to be a goody two shoes, and you know it. When I was in school, I would come home with A+ grades. If I came back home with a 90 on a test, my parents would look at it and say, 'You couldn't get a 95.' All right. If I got a 95, they'd say, 'What happened to those last 5 points? Well, you couldn't get 100.' And obviously, if I got 100, there's no extra credit on this test. Obviously, you could get more than 100% of 100, Math. I've never been able to, I've never made them proud. Never, no matter what I did. I only heard harsh words coming from their mouths. And you know what? Look where I am now. I put on tefillin like twice a year, and when I do, I get a pat on the back and a big yasha koyach. I've never made them more proud in my life. We have to use our words correctly. On the flip side, there's a Rebbe Tversky in Flatbush. I think they call him the Haggachav Rebbe. So he once saw 3 Yidden smoking on Shabbos. And they don't know. They just don't know. And he went over to them. And they're those, he knew them, they knew him. And no matter where you're holding in life, you don't want to smoke in front of your Rebbe on Shabbos. And he went over to them and he said, "If you were smoking the Kavod Shabbos, then good Shabbos." And he gave them a warm Shalom Aleichem, a hug, and went on his way. He said, "Look, you guys are smoking on Shabbos, you're smoking on Shabbos. That's where you're holding. But don't forget about Shabbos just because you're smoking. Don't forget about it. Don't forget about who you are. Don't forget where you're coming from." When you use words like that, it pulls on the heartstrings of another Yid. You build people up. You put people back together. The power of our words. May we be zeicha to the Geula Shlema B'Karev and see the building of the Beis Hamikdash B'Karev. Good Shabbos.